Bore da, croeso, good morning, a warm welcome to you all. My name is Hugh Day. I'm one of the communication business partners here at WRAP. I'd like to start by saying thank you all for joining us this morning to find out more about WRAP, the Waste Resource Action Programme, and more importantly, our work here in Wales and how we're delivering Wales's mission to become net zero by 2050. Before I show you a short video that will give you a fast track course in WRAP Cymru's history and future ambitions, I'd like to introduce my colleagues who are also attending this morning. From left to right, we're joined by Claire Shrewsbury, Director of Insights and Innovation, Bettina Gilbert, the Head of Technical Support and Financial Mechanisms, Angelina Spiteri, Campaign Manager, Rachel Avery, Media Relations Specialist, Pauline Vella, the Delivery Manager of Technical Support, and myself, Hugh Day, one of the Communications Business Partners. A few housekeeping rules before we get started. We expect the call to last an hour, and if you have any questions, please do send them to us and we'll look to get back to you as soon as we can. I hope that's given you a bit of a fast track course about WRAP's work here in Wales and highlights some of the really impressive work that goes on. I'm now going to hand over to WRAP's Director of Insights and Innovation, Claire Shrewsbury, who can tell you a bit more about WRAP's history, our key focus areas, and a bit more about her role at WRAP. Good morning, Claire.
Good morning, Hugh. Thank you. If you want to just move the slide on. Thank you. So hopefully you're pretty impressed with the work that we've done there in Wales, but just to sort of help put that into context, WRAP was sort of formally started around 2000 and is a climate action NGO, and we work across the globe, hopefully tackling the climate crisis so that it isn't a crisis anymore. So we now currently work in around 40 countries, and we established the WRAP Cymru office back in 2008, but have been working, with the Welsh Government for a long period of time. So on the next slide, please. So just thinking about our vision. So as I say, our vision is that we have a thriving world where climate change isn't a problem. What we really absolutely believe at WRAP is that natural resources shouldn't be wasted, and that we should be looking at the way that we manufacture, consume, produce and dispose of things so that we can help tackle the climate change. The use of resources and consumption represents about 45% of all global greenhouse gases. And if we are to decarbonise energy, which is massively important, we still won't keep within that boundary limit of 1.5 degrees. So tackling resources and the way that things are consumed is really, really key to unlocking the ability to keep within that 1.5 degree boundary limit that we need to set us, that's been set. So that's who we kind of are. What we do is, on the next slide, please, Hugh. Yeah, so we focus on 3 main materials. So the food system globally represents about 1/3 of all greenhouse gases, from farming right through to fork, and through some of the processes and practices that is involved in the whole food system. So we absolutely know that tackling food, not just food waste, is really important. So WRAP's thinking about the greenhouse gas emissions in the food system, the water stewardship, which is obviously interlinked. Food obviously has a massive impact on biodiversity loss. So that is a major focus for us within WRAP. We also focus on plastics. We were the first to launch a plastics pact globally with the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. There's now 13 of those worldwide. That's really trying to tackle the overconsumption and the disposal of plastics and it getting into our environment, such as the marine environment, where it really shouldn't be. So there are major targets around plastics and how they're used. And the other material focus is on textiles, and that again has a really high greenhouse gas impact associated with all of with textiles, and the way that we treat our textiles, procure them, use them, maybe don't use them as much as we should. So we have in all of those 3 spaces, we have what we call voluntary agreements to tackle those. And then the other area that we work in is sort of resource management and the broader circular economy. And the team will talk to you a lot more about what we're doing there in Wales in particular. But it's thinking about recycling, but not just recycling. We know we're not going to be able to recycle ourselves out of a climate crisis. It's much more thinking about circular business models, how to reduce and reuse resources further up the pipe rather than they become an end of waste, something that we have to deal with and recycle or dispose of through energy from waste or landfill. So that's really our kind of 4 key focus areas. And then how we actually work, we have a sort of theory of change where we, and in Wales, what we do is we talk about a collaboration change programme. That is working with local authorities, market development, circular economy fund, public sector procurement and citizen behaviour change. But if I hand over to Bettina, she will talk you through that in a bit more detail. So Bettina, over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Claire. So I'll talk to you a little bit about these programs. Really, in Wales, our work is funded by the Welsh Government, and we're helping Wales meet its targets to become zero waste by 2050 and achieve net zero and become a more circular and resource efficient economy and country. And so our work with the Collaborative Change Programme, we work with all 21 local authorities in Wales to help them develop more efficient and effective recycling services for householders. And we do that by providing, basically looking at their services and doing some modeling to understand how they can improve those services. And then we give them very hands-on operational support to drive those changes on the ground. So working with their operatives, like you see here on this slide, and on their sites to help them manage that waste more effectively. And also we provide some materials marketing support. So once they collect all those materials, they can keep those materials, sell them for the best price possible, and keep as many of those materials as possible in Wales, or if not in the UK. And then also through this work, what we do is we provide support to the Welsh Government to really understand material flows in Wales and to drive policy, to inform their policy changes. And it's through this support and our support for service changes where we've seen the local authorities we've worked with achieve as much as a 14% increase in their recycling. And then I guess also through this program, you would have seen on the original video, we have things like My Recycling Wales, which helps householders understand where their recycling goes to and encourages them to recycle more, and uses our communications materials to inform consumers, householders again, and get them to recycle as much as possible. And Angela will be talking about that a little bit more later. So another area of this work is once we collect all those materials in Wales, what do we do with them? So we work with manufacturers in Wales to help them use recycled content in their products. And we do this through demonstration trials and through providing one-to-one technical support. This program is really about not so much looking at using recycled content in household plastics packaging, because in Wales we're actually really good. That our research tells us that packaging manufactured in Wales already has over 30% recycled content on average. And so this work really looks at taking those more difficult to treat materials and using them in products manufactured in Wales, and looking really at not so much developing new products, but by working with manufacturers who already have products on market and are produced, in volume, to drive demand for those recycled materials at scale. So I think on the next slide, Hugh, there's a little bit more information about some of these projects. So we've run some more recently, some demonstration trials looking at using coffee cups, for example, and also crisp packets in decking products. So you can see on this side, this is a picnic table that is made from recycled plastics, from crisp packets, and from used coffee cups. We've also done some circular projects looking at using recycled content in mortar tubs. So these are the tubs that are used on construction sites to hold cement. They take a lot of wear and tear. They're difficult to use recycled materials in because quite often that can make products more brittle. So what we did was we used QR codes to actually recover those products from construction sites. We cleaned them, we ground them up, and we turned them into new mortar tubs. So some of the other projects looked at using recycled content in hazardous goods containers. So these are containers that really, for obvious reasons, have to be very high quality. They have to achieve a UN standard, and they typically are made from 100% virgin plastics. And so we demonstrated that up to 50%, sometimes even up to 100% recycled content could be used in these products. And now they're actually achieving their UN certification to sell them globally. Another project we worked with Verticare in the South Wales Valleys to use recycled content in sharps containers. So you would have seen that again in the video. That has been a successful trial. They're now selling those containers in France and to the NHS across the UK. Again, we worked with Addis Plastics. So they make things like washing up tubs that you would use in your sink, and spatulas, and also kitchen caddies. So we helped them use recycled content in their products. I know that in my Tesco, there was a huge display of the Addis Eco caddies. You might be familiar with those and have seen those. And then the final one was in the polymer cement composite. So that is basically creating stone products and cement-based stone look products made from cement. They're typically very high carbon intensive products. And we've helped to decarbonize those products by using polymers and also, again, trialing recycled paper in those products as well. And so these projects have all been successful. The products are going to market or at market. And we've also found on average, we've been able to reduce the carbon footprint of these products by about 50%. So really successful trials, all products manufactured in Wales. Do you want to carry on, Hugh? Fantastic. And then the team also delivers grant programs In Wales, most recently, we've delivered the Circular Economy Fund, where we worked with 22 manufacturers across Wales to use recycled content and produce more sustainable products, reused products, or products using more sustainable materials. And really, for this project, it's been a huge success. Over the next 3 years, we expect the businesses supported to increase their turnover by £63 million. So it's a huge increase in turnover, to create 75 new jobs, to reduce carbon emissions by 53,000 tons, and to use 80,000 tons of recycled materials. So fantastic outcome for Wales. Next slide, please. And then what's really important is that once we've created these materials, that we actually have people who want to buy them. So in Wales, one of the things we do is we work with the public sector across Wales, so not just local authorities, all public bodies in Wales, to help them implement sustainable public procurement. And we do this by really helping them identify opportunities to develop their strategies for sustainable public procurement, to understand quick wins by looking at what they're spending their money on and how they can reduce the carbon impact and become more sustainable in what they're buying, and to drive cultural change by working with their staff, providing training, to help implement the sustainable procurement by working with specific procurement exercises on them, with them, and then providing the tools to really measure the change. So we're driving further change by helping them identify opportunities and realize the benefits of what they've done. And also in this program, what we do is we provide guidance. So we have guidance on specific procurement categories, such as packaging and construction, and best practice guidance for areas where we found, by talking to the public sector in Wales, they need a bit more support. So early market engagement, so speaking to the sector and the manufacturers and really understand how they can procure more sustainable products, as an example, and also helping them with things like carbon footprinting. Next slide here, I think that's me. Yeah, so here's an example of some of our work. You're on mute here.
Typical. Thanks, Bettina. I was just saying that we're going to share a video now just to give you a bit of an understanding of one of the supply chain projects that took place recently. It shows how we're collaborating with multiple sectors across Wales to increase the amount of recycled content going into products made in Wales and reducing the reliance on virgin materials.
My name is William Hogg. I'm the Managing Director of EcoDeck, which is part of the Epwin Group, and we are based in Wrexham, North Wales.
I'm Bettina Gilbert. I'm the Head of Technical Support and Financial Mechanisms at WRAP. So the supply chain trials were funded by the Welsh Government. They made them possible. In Wales, we're third best at recycling in the world. But what we need to do is find ways to use all those materials that we collect and recycle. So altogether, there's over 20 organizations taking part in the trials. It's a collaboration between the private sector, between the education sector, several of the universities in Wales, and then other technical specialists, and of course, WRAP and our team.
The objective of this project was to get as much non-recyclable waste from coffee cups into our wood polymer composite product to prevent it from going into landfill.
Nextech is a company with engineers and scientists using science to improve the way we use materials to create a better circular economy. We've been involved in the recycling of post-consumer plastics for the last 15 years.
EcoDeck's role was very much one of being the manufacturing knowledge and capability. We've been involved in extruding composite decking for the last 20 years. The challenges initially were to find the right formulation that could actually generate a quality product.
We had to work with Nextech to get a formulation that was cost effective and sustainable as well. There's a lot of materials there. They come and go, they're not always available. So we have to make sure what we do now, we can still do in the years to come.
We had to source materials that were currently considered unrecyclable. But what we found was that we could actually create durable composites. And these are, in fact, new materials that were being made from waste that could be recycled back into new products.
We're already using it for benches that are going into schools, leisure facilities, so parks, the seating that you see in a bus shelter can now be made of a recycled material. There are huge opportunities out there to take waste streams that otherwise would find their way into landfill, to convert them into recycled base material that can then be used in an alternative solution.
We've shown that we're getting a very positive result. And of course, there are multiple benefits from the work. And we really want to thank RAP Wales for supporting us in this investigation.
So another supply chain project that's worth a quick mention, Bettina also touched on it. It was our work to increase the amount of recycled content in medical sharps containers. So in non-technical terms, where needles are disposed of. We supported Vernicare Group, who are based in Blackwood. They're a supplier of the NHS to significantly reduce the amount of single-use plastic used in their manufacturing. Now, since the project, they've introduced a 5th generation of their sharps containers. So they've now introduced 100% materials into all of their accessories and product features. What's really impressive is that they've expanded into Europe, Australasia, and North America. So they're supporting healthcare facilities worldwide to achieve carbon net zero targets. So, you know, the work that we're doing to support local businesses here in Wales often has a global impact. I'm pleased to say as well that we have a new supply chain project underway. It's comparing the cleaning techniques during the recycling of agricultural film to see whether additional cleaning steps yield a better result, which allows for a greater percentage of recycled material in manufacture. We are about to commission a number of new supply chain projects as well. So once we're able to share more information about these trials, we'll be sure to reach out and let you know. Now, to give you an example of the Circular Economy Fund, which Bettina also touched upon, we supported Montgomery Waters, enabling them to use 100% recycled content in their 5-litre bottles and 50% recycled content in their shrink film. The support that we provided safeguarded 7 jobs and incorporated hundreds of tons of additional recycled content into their manufacturing process. So here's a very short time-lapse video to help tell that story. Brilliant. So hopefully we've given you a flavour of our work supporting businesses here in Wales. What we haven't touched upon is our citizen-facing work. So how we're changing the recycling behaviours of everyday people. With that said, I'd like to introduce Angelina Spiteri, who leads on our national recycling campaigns in Wales. She's going to talk about our flagship recycling campaign, Be Mighty, which is due to launch in the new year. Over to you, Angela.
Thank you, Hugh. If you could just move on to the next slide. So Be Mighty Recycle is a Wales-focused bilingual behaviour change campaign with a mighty ambition to get Wales to #1 in the world for recycling. We're currently well ahead of all the other UK nations, 2nd in Europe and 3rd in the world. As well as getting to #1, a big goal of the campaign is to help reach Welsh Government's recycling targets of 70% recycling by 2025 and becoming a zero waste nation by 2050. Our current recycling rate is 65%, and 25 years ago, this figure was less than 5%, which really highlights how far we've come. And in another 25 years, the vision is that we will be well on our way to becoming fully net zero. Next slide. The campaign was first launched back in September 2020 and was rolled out over 3 campaign bursts until March 2021. At WRAP, all of our citizen campaigns are research-led, and this campaign aims to change behaviours by using our research to identify and tackle the most under-recycled items and target the most underperforming audiences. I will now play this video from the 2020 campaign, which was used across our TV ads and on our digital channels. So Be Mighty was a fully integrated multi-channel campaign, and this slide provides a snapshot of all the activity. It had a strong presence online through social media and targeted digital ads, as well as high visibility across communities in Wales through out of home, on recycling vehicles, and also posters disseminated by our partners in the community. The campaign was also further amplified by our celebrity ambassador, Matt Pritchard, and also our influencers, as well as our Welsh partners, which included Welsh local authorities, Welsh brands, universities, housing associations, and visitor attractions. Next slide, please. PR was also a really key part of the mix, and each burst was supported by news stories and articles which generated some really great coverage across the 3 bursts, across broadcast, print media, as well as radio. One of the bursts in particular that got a lot of pickup was when we revealed through our news story the change in recycling behaviours post-COVID 1 year on, and used a family case study to bring our stats to life, really showcasing the impact of lockdown on recycling behaviours. Next slide, please. Here are some top-line results from the campaign. So in terms of recall, almost half of all people in Wales saw the campaign. It was really well liked, with 90% agreeing that the campaign stood out and 80% finding it engaging, relatable and motivating. But probably most importantly, out of those that saw the campaign, over 50% said they did something differently as a result, which demonstrated that the campaign really helped to shape recycling behaviours in a positive way. Next slide. So that was 2 years ago. Here is a snapshot of where we are today. So over 90% of people in Wales are regular recyclers. The current figure is actually higher than last year's, so our research is showing us that behaviours are largely moving in the right direction. We know that 90% of people recycle most everyday dry household items. So these include many of the items that we targeted with the last Be Mighty campaign, such as plastic bathroom toiletries and cleaning items. So not surprisingly, our research is telling us that becoming the best in the world is a key motivator for Welsh citizens, and also that the environment is an important driver for most, with over 70% of people saying that they are prepared to make lifestyle compromises to benefit the environment. Next slide, please, Hugh. So whilst over 90% of us are regular recyclers, less than 80% of people in Wales are recycling food waste. And out of those that do, most are not recycling everything that they can. So, for example, some may be recycling fruit and veg peelings, but don't know that they can recycle things like tea bags or eggshells. So in addition to this, we also know that around a quarter of what's in the general rubbish bin is food waste. So the research is telling us that food waste recycling is where there is the potential to make the biggest change, which is why food recycling is going to be the focus of the 2023 Be Mighty Recycle campaigns. So in Wales, every local authority provides a food recycling service, which isn't the case for other parts of the UK. And almost every local authority in Wales sends their food waste to anaerobic digestion, where it is recycled into green energy. So the picture on the slide here shows an anaerobic digestion plant near Merthyr Tydfil, where many of the surrounded local authorities send their food waste to get recycled into renewable energy. So just put it into context, we currently recycle enough food waste to power 10,000 homes. And one recycled banana peel could generate enough electricity to fully charge 2 smartphones. So Wales is really leading the way when it comes to creating green energy from food waste, which is not only significant to the climate crisis, but also to the energy crisis too. So most people in Wales don't know this, so highlighting this process will become a core part of the narrative that we build into the next Be Mighty Recycle campaign, and in particular the PR. Next slide. Diolch yn fawr. Thanks very much for listening. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with me directly. My email address is here on this slide. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thanks, Angela. It's always exciting to hear about campaigns, and it's another example really of how we're working to get Wales from the 3rd best recycling nation in the world to #1. Our final speaker this morning then is Rachel Avery from RAP's media relations team. Rachel has been traditionally involved with PR in England and has been very successful in telling RAP's story. Rachel would be the main point of contact for any media moving forward, and I'm pleased to hand over to Rachel now. Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning, Hugh. Thank you. Hello, everyone. So as Hugh said, I'm Rachel and I'm one of the media relations specialists here at RAP. I've worked in media and within sort of PR and media relations for about 7.5 years now, and I've been with RAP for about 3.5 years. Absolutely love what I do. I love the work RAP does, and I think that as a team, what we're trying to do with sort of our basis is get a better relationship with the media in general, so with all of you. And I think our sort of purpose today is just to introduce ourselves and to give you a contact. So if you're writing something, if you've got anything that you're interested in and you think that we can help you with that, which we are more than happy to do, it's to drop me an email, give me a call, and I'm more than happy to help you with that. We are doing some really exciting work. And again, if that's something that you want to hear more about, you want to do something special on, again, please contact us. We have got a wealth of experts within RAP who are media trained, who can talk with you, whether that's on the radio, whether that's broadcast opportunities. We can sort of help you set those up. We're sort of really keen to do that. So again, you know, if that's something that you'd like more information on, or you'd like to chat with me separately, then I'm more than happy to do that. I'm afraid I've not got anything sort of remotely exciting to report on other than the what's already been discussed today. But if you do have anything from a media perspective that you would like to speak to me with sort of in more detail, then please do that. Hugh's just showing you some slides of sort of where we do a lot of work. We're really lucky at RAP with the opportunities that we do get. I think that establishing sort of relationships with media professionals like yourself is something that we really want to hone in on. So events like this are really important for us, and establishing these relationships and giving you a point of contact within the organization of who you can come to, and hopefully we can come to you as well. So do drop me an email, give me a call. I work 5 days a week, so drop me a line. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Nawr, os ydych chi'n chwilio am siaradwr Cymraeg, mae gennym ambell un yma yn RAP. So it's worth noting as well that we do have Welsh speakers here at RAP. So please do approach us for support and information in both Welsh and English. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Diolch yn fawr iawn. We're happy to take any questions, any follow-up questions, and hopefully we look forward to working with you very soon. Diolch yn fawr.